What I'm happy about is that effectively the measure that the committee suggested across Coalition Labor members, that we have an interim bill, is effectively where we're at. We're going to have a bill that enables our agencies to deal with what was presented to us as a period of heightened alert, and to just deal generally with managing the threat challenge they have around this technical barrier. But at the same time, we are going to see the committee continue its process on refining what will no doubt be a significantly improved piece of legislation when that process is complete. We have had something like 17 bills presented to this committee, and Labor has worked to offer over 300 recommendations in relation to those items of legislation, which have all been adopted in that process, and through the input of all the members of the committee in those processes, we have seen the end product come out of the bottom of the funnel being better. Every single time it has been a better piece of legislation. So allowing the committee to continue its process of analysis, of testing this evidence, of coming forward with recommendations, will no doubt refine and improve this legislation and address any issues that emerge. And we will have the benefit of some experience with it as well. And there additionally will be the INSOM, the independent monitor of our security legislation, conducting a statutory review after the 18-month period is complete. And that is critical as well, to have that extra independent oversight. We have been served well by INSOMs in the past, like Brett Walker, who've done a great job in that space. So those are important facts to be aware of, the community could be reassured about, because we do have continuing concerns about how this will play out and how this bill will operate. Of course, the concerns of the community, it's one of those rare situations where you have civil liberty concerns and industry concerns being raised in from completely different perspectives, a conflation of concerns wrapped up in this bill. And of course, those commercial issues are very important, very important. The evidence that we received in the committee highlighted some risks of an order of magnitude that cannot be ignored. We cannot just simply brush those aside, and they relate in addition to the way those large IT companies operate, to the way that Australian companies participate in that global space. And so it's something that we must test as well. We need detailed review of that commercial impact and how that might be managed and dealt with. Certainly, what I know is we can't completely just blanket complaint about the way Silicon Valley operates and the way the Minister for Home Affairs did. So a lot of those companies actually got their start in life through assistance from DARPA and the CIA, who are providing fantastic contributions in the security space. Companies like Palantir, for example, effectively vectored Osama bin Laden's location. So these are companies and capabilities that we need to work with and not ruin relationships with or prevent Australia from accessing and dealing with those companies, which is one of the risks that are involved in a process like this. Now, the other issue, of course, that I should deal with, and I know that there are other elements that the shadow went to in terms of the probity concerns, and we were really supported well and benefited from the evidence presented by the IGIS. Margaret Stone, who's a very, very capable person with a very capable team, and through all of these processes and all this legislation has provided incredibly valuable input. And the role that she and her team perform in giving the community comfort around the way our security agencies operate, as she is completely embedded in that process, is critically important and has been critically beneficial to all legislation and how these agencies operate. So any recommendations or suggestions she makes very much must be taken seriously. We must be reassured about how this legislation operates in the way she does business, and certainly the Ombudsman as well. And we're really reassured that that will be taken seriously by the Attorney-General. In conclusion, though, I must draw my final comments to unhelpful sideline comments from the member for Hume and the Finance Minister in the Senate. Those sorts of comments were extreme and grossly offensive to not only Labor but to myself and the member for Solomon personally. I have spent 30 years of my life deeply immersed in the security affairs of this nation. I've watched friends lost and killed in operations against terrorists. I've washed the blood of friends from my uniform, and I won't be told by a member of this House that I am running a protection racket for terrorists. That was grossly offensive and was not a contribution to this debate. And I understand that in the heat of politics you sometimes say things off the top of your head, but I would request that the member for Hume come into this House and make an apology to the members of this party, the Labor Party, and personally to the two members of that party that have served our nation in uniform against that terrorist threat. We have entered into this space in all goodwill and in full endeavour to get this job done.